Hello friends, this video on ratio and proportion part 11 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So now that we also got an idea about that sometimes ratios are also equivalent, that is they refer to the same number. Now whenever we come across two ratios which are equal, we say that the ratios are in proportion. So that is what we mean by proportion. So let me give you an example again. Let's say there are two girls, Rita and Geeta. So this is Rita and this is Geeta. And they have some number of toffees. So let's say that on two different days, let's talk about day 1 and day 2. So let's say that on day 1, Rita has 6 toffees and Geeta has 36 toffees. So that's the count on day 1. So what was the ratio of Rita to Geeta? That is ratio of number of toffees with Rita to Geeta. So the ratio for day 1 was 6:36. Now let's say on day number 2, Rita has 2 toffees and Geeta has 12 toffees. So what is the ratio on day number 2? The ratio is 2:12. Now when you simplify both of these ratios, you see that 6:36 is nothing but 1:6. Similarly, 2:12 is nothing but 1:6. So basically we see that these two ratios are equivalent in a way. So the two ratios are equal. So these type of equal ratios are said to be proportional to each other. So we say that 6:36 is proportional to 2:12. So how do we denote proportional? With 4 dots like this. So when you write 6:36 is proportional to 2:12, that very clearly means that the value of this ratio is equal to the value of this ratio. So basically two equivalent ratios are proportional. So that's what we mean in a way, that whenever you come across two ratios which are equivalent, which are equal, then we say that those two ratios are proportional to each other. So the symbol this is used to represent proportion, and sometimes even is equal to is also used. So this is how we denote proportion. Now in a proportion, let's use the same proportion, like 6:36 is proportional to 2:12. So in a proportion, you will always come across these numbers like 6, 36, 2 and 12. So these numbers are nothing but they are called the terms in a proportion. They are the respective terms in a proportion and their order is very important. Now 6:36, you cannot write it as 36:6 because that will alter the meaning, entire meaning. Similarly, you cannot interchange the position of 36 and 2. So their positions also play a very important role. So these numbers are called terms, and the two cornermost term, that is 6 and 12 in this case, they are called extreme terms. Whereas the two middlemost terms, that is the second term and the third term, they are called middle terms. So these are certain terminologies related to proportion. Now these numbers, that is 6, 36, 2 and 12. So they are called as respective terms when they are placed in the appropriate order. That means these quantities are taken in order. So if I say that 6, 36, 2 and 12 are respective terms in a proportion, that would mean that 6 and 12 are the extreme terms and 36 and 2 are the middle terms in a proportion. Let me give you another example. Let's say if I say that 2, 3, 6, 5, these are respective terms in a proportion. That means this actually wants to tell that 2:3 is proportional to 6:5. So this is the correct interpretation of this. Now instead of this, if you write 2:5 is proportional to 6:3. So that is incorrect. In fact, you place it in any other order and that would be incorrect. So the correct order would be 2:3 is proportional to 6:5. So let us take few examples and see if they are in proportion or not. So the first example is 4, 6, 8, 12. So these are the respective terms in a proportion. What does that mean? That means you have to find out if 4:6 is proportional to 8:12 or not. So you have to find out if this is true or not. So for that we will find out the value of this ratio and we will find out the value of this ratio and then compare if both are equal. So what is 4:6? So 4:6 is equal to 4 by 6. Now what is the HCF of 4 and 6? So HCF of 4 and 6 is 2. So divide the numerator and denominator by 2. So you get 2 by 3. Similarly, let's do it for the other term, that is 8:12. So 8:12 can be written as 8 by 12. Again, the HCF of 8 and 12 is 4. So divide the numerator and denominator by 4. So you get 2 by 3. So if you compare both the values, you see both the ratios actually refer to 2 by 3. So that means they are equal. Therefore, we can say that 4:6 is proportional to 8:12. So yes, this is in proportion. Let's look at the next example, 24, 28, 36 and 48. So here also first we have to find out this ratio, that is 24:28. So this will be equal to 24 by 28. So here the highest common factor of 24 and 28 would be 4. So divide the numerator and denominator by 4. So this becomes 6 by 7. Now let's focus on the other ratio, that is 36:48. This can be written as 36 by 48. So the HCF of 36 and 48 would be 12. So divide the numerator and denominator by 12. This is 3 by 4. So in this case, if you look at the values of the two ratios, they are not equal. So therefore, these terms are not in proportion.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.